Welcome everyone. On today's video, we're working with a new release from Hero Arts, and this is a super fun set. I have got the unbelievably awesome stamp and die set. And you've got the Loch Ness monster, and you have a castle and some clouds and some fish and some seaweed. And we've got several sentiments. Hi friend, I believe in you, love you lots, locks. You are unbelievably awesome. You're a legend. Long time no see, and hope your day is legendary. And these sentiments will fit in between the Loch Ness monster. I've also got the unbelievably amazing banner set, and you've got these banners. There are, looks like 5 different banners. You're unbelievably awesome. Believe in you. You're a legend. Long time no see. Have a magical birthday. There's actually 6, and so happy you exist. And then some like starbursts and stuff. We've got a cloud die set that you can use to die set some clouds. And this right here, this stencil is amazing. When I stenciled this, it was just stunning. If you get nothing else with this set, I would highly recommend this stencil as it is gorgeous. It is called the Lake of Legends stencil set. I will link everything in the description box below. And then we have the Gentle Giant die set. And this thing is huge. I've got the kind of the collection here, and I'm just showing you this great big Loch Ness monster. And so we're going to die cut that out. We're going to work with all of this. I think the only thing we don't use is the clouds. So we're going to stencil first. I'll stencil one on camera, and then since I had all my inks and everything out, I went ahead and stenciled a second, and we're going to use both of those for our card. I've got tumbled glass and can't think of the other color. I don't know. I'm just using my distress oxides and just laying down some color, and I'm going to go real heavy-handed on this stencil, and it's going to be very vibrant. It'll be a very vibrant panel. And then when I go off camera and I do the other one, I just essentially am cleaning my brushes, and I didn't put any ink. I just used the residual ink that was on the brushes and made a lighter scene. And it's still a good colorful scene because I had plenty of ink on there. But anyway, I'm just going to get this laid down, and this is gorgeous. You could use this background for a lot of different scenes. It is just so pretty, just nature scenes. Anyway, and it's just 4 stencils. There's just 4 of them. And basically you're doing a lighter color and then a darker color is what you're doing. And they've positioned these fish so that when you add kind of the green to the landscape, you get those fish that are down in the water in the blue that you've already colored, and it really worked out very nice. And you got good color on them, and they looked really nice there in the water. Now, I think the Loch Ness monster, I think they refer to him as Nessie, is like a Scottish folklore where people have taken pictures and had sightings and stuff, but I don't think there's ever been any, I don't know, real connection to it. I have no idea. I'm not an expert on this, but just kind of remember hearing about, the Loch Ness monster as a child or whatever, but it is a fun set. And this die is huge that we're going to work with it. Now look at this stencil. Is this gorgeous or what? It's just so rich and beautiful, just the way they've laid it out. Now I'm going to work with this one, and I've got my Loch Ness, and I'm going to bring in the squiggly frames that they released as well during this new release. And I took some of my not too shabby pattern 6x6 pattern paper in this watercolor green, and I thought this would be perfect for the Loch Ness monster, and I was really pleased when I die cut it out. I just laid the back of it in kind of a lighter area, and then the front of it in the darker area of the green. Now here I'm just taking a Sharpie marker and putting a dark circle where the eye is, just so that I have some definition there. And you can see this is a striped floral on the back of this. But when I looked at the die and I thought about the monster, I was thinking about this paper because I've recently worked with this paper because it is a new It's this month's paper subscription from Not Too Shabby. And I just thought that green with the variation of color would make for a great Loch Ness monster. So that's why I chose it. And you can see how big this is. You could probably use a 5x7 and get a lot more of this monster on there. Now the tail is separate and then the fin is separate. So these are the other pieces I have here. And they all have a double layer. This is the tail. And it's positioned so that you can separate it from the body and have it come up out of the water in a different area. And so that's really a fun way that they did that. And then here's the fin, and it's a double layer as well. And I'm just enjoying my cup of coffee as I do this voiceover. While I was doing this video yesterday, I was waiting for Daria and her husband to arrive. Those of you that watch Daria and I on our Monday Night Lives, they are on vacation and they are taking a RV trip, and their first stop was in Indiana. And so I was waiting for them I was just keeping myself busy and trying to keep an eye on, my phone and waiting to hear, when they were going to arrive. So they did make it safely, and we had a really nice visit last night. I made dinner for them, and fortunately Pat was still here. He's got weekend events this weekend, but he was here and was able to visit, and we had a nice first day. So they're going to be here through the weekend, and we're going to do some different things. Today, actually, I want to get this video or this voiceover done because we're having a crafting day, and Daria and I are going to just set up shop probably at my dining room table and do some crafting, and my pastor's wife is going to come over and do some crafting along with us. So it should be a fun little crafty session. Anyway, so I'm just trimming this down. I've cut those squiggle frames, and I'm just trying to get this trimmed down to where it doesn't show, too much of the panel doesn't show behind it. But I just love that stencil. I just think you could put just a sentiment on there and it would be good to go. I think it would look lovely with just some kind of a creation sentiment or something like that. I think that'd be just beautiful. Anyway, this is gonna be the scene for our monster. And I'm just gonna position his tail over here and then his body over here, and then it kind of looks like he's great big and his tail's coming up out of the water kind of in front of him. And then we'll put the fin on here. So I'm just trying to figure out how to do it, and then we'll come back in and get it glued down. There we go. And I've decided to position a little bit higher so I could get a little bit more. I wanted those kind of the spots on the back to really show. I didn't want to have to cut that much of it off. And then I'm just going to lay the fin on the body. And since I'm going to go across the layers, I'm just going to put a little piece of foam on the bottom of it just to help level it out. We'll get that laid down on there. So after they left, they went to set up their camp. We went next door and played some games with my dad and mom. And so it was a really full day. It was a beautiful day. We had plenty of sunshine, and it was just a lovely day. So we'll get this pressed down on here, and then we're just going to flip it over and cut off the extra. And then we've got a pretty full A2 size card base. And I like it. I think it's a really interesting scene. So I'm going to get my panel laid down on here. And then we'll get our squiggly lines laid down on there. And have a little frame. And we're going to bring in a sentiment. So I've got a little white. You can see I've got a little white showing above and below, and that's okay because we're going to put this little squiggly frame on there and just kind of frame it out. I just wanted to retain most of the scene, and so I didn't want to cut a lot of it away, but I did want to kind of have some kind of a interesting element, so that's why I chose the squiggly frame. And here, I like when I use kind of the rounded frames, I like to round the card base, so that's what I'm doing. And we're just going to get this glued down there, and then we'll add our sentiment. The next one, for the next card, we're going to bring in that stamp set, and we're going to make a fun birthday card. So Hero Arts really had a fantastic release this month. They had that You're a Classic with the columns and the statues and all that. And then yesterday's video, I used that You've Got a Friend set with the florals and that bitty floral and die set. That was so fun where I did that paper piecing. It did take a minute, but it was super fun. I think my grandsons will really enjoy this set. I think they will probably think it's a dinosaur and they will enjoy it. I think, you know, any kind of a creature type element, they're going to love it. So here we go. So I've got my cinnamon on there. I think I put You're Unbelievably Awesome on that. Here's that other panel. And like I said, it is slightly lighter. I didn't take any ink to it. I just used my brushes and just cleaned them. And you can see it's just lighter, but it's still really, really pretty. And I got my brushes clean. I also cleaned my green brush on this strip of white paper here. And I'm going to use it to stamp our little Nessie stamp on here, and I won't have to color it or anything. I thought this is just a simple way to use this stamp and not have to do any coloring. So just clean the green brush on there. I'm going to lay this down. Now this is 2 pieces. The stamp is so that you can position your sentiment in between it, and I love that. It does die cut out in 5 pieces. I thought it might be attached when it die cut out, but it was not. So it does die cut out in 5 pieces. So I'm just going to use my anti-static powder tool. I got a little bit much on there, so I took it offside and just kind of blew it off. I didn't want it all over my Misty. This Misty's a newer Misty, and I'm trying to keep it a little bit clean, but when you do videos every day, it's kind of hard to keep your stuff clean. So I just used my VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink, and I'm giving it a good press. And I'm going to go off camera and heat emboss it. We'll sprinkle some clear embossing powder on here, and then we'll just go off camera and we'll heat emboss it. I've got it plugged in a different spot, so I just walked over there real quick and just heat embossed it. And I've been doing a lot of heat embossing lately. So anyway, I like to run that powder over there several times and just give it a tap and clean it off, and then we'll get it heat embossed, and then we'll bring it back in and we'll get to assembling this second card. It comes together pretty quickly. So here we go. We're going to get the dies laid down on here and get it die cut out. And we're going to use a couple of sentiments on it. We're going to use, I think we use the You're Unbelievably Awesome again, and then I'm going to use the birthday banner sentiment on this to make this a birthday card. And I think it's a cute little fun card. It'd be a fun card for kids. Or somebody that is enamored with the tell of the Loch Ness Monster. I think that would be a fun card for them as well. So I'm just going to get this lined up on there, and I think I'm going to bring in some tape because I just don't trust myself. And we'll get it taped down, and then we'll go to the die cutting machine and we'll bring it back in. Just give that a good press. There we go. All right, so this is where I was surprised. I was like, oh, I thought it'd be 2 pieces, but it was actually 5. And so I will caution you, you need to, I should have, I was thinking as I was planning this, that I should just attach this to the back of my sentiment and position it. And then I didn't wind up doing it. I just kind of went rogue and laid it down on my card. And I didn't evenly space the elements of it as I should have, and so I'll kind of tweak it to make it work, but it'll work out just fine, and we'll get it. So I'm just cutting this down to, I think I cut this down to, I think 4 by 5 1/4, so that I can have a little white frame around there. We're gonna just add a white panel that will emboss for our background. I just took a recent embossing folder from Spellbinders. I think this is called Poolside. I'll try to remember to link everything in the description box below, but it's a fun embossing folder that it really doesn't have a set pattern, so I think you could use it for anything. And it'll just add some texture. And these panels that I'm using, I was trying to try something different. Everyone says they use Nina Solar White 110-pound cardstock and that they really like it. Well, I ordered it off Amazon, and it was supposed to be heavy cardstock, and it was not. I mean, I don't even know what weight it. Anyway, didn't send it back. I thought, oh, I can use it for whatever, and so I got really thin panels. That even the panel I embossed was really thin, but we're gonna have it on a good card base, and we'll get it glued down. It should firm it up. Now you need to space the head, the body, and the tail further apart. I kind of butted them up next to each other, and for those bottom pieces, they really need to be spaced out a little bit, but I was able to make it work. And I was using the sentiment so I could kind of cover up anything that I needed to hide. And I love that they give you dies for every sentiment. I love that. I do not like fussy cutting, and I love when you've got a nice tight sentiment. So I'm just going to even this up there, and then I'll come back in and tuck those bottom pieces underneath there. And I'll have to work with them a little bit. I think I kind of push them up a little bit. And it's not completely perfect, but it's better than horrible, as Gina would say. So I've got the banner, the happy birthday banner, and I used blue, and I just cleaned the blue blending brush with this one, and then stamped it, and then die cut it out. And we just kept, our color palette the same. And we've got a fun, playful card. So just giving it all a good press. And we're going to get it laid down on our 3D embossed panel. And we've got a couple of fun cards with this Nessie. And there's our first one, and there's our second one. And I have taken some pictures so that you can see it a little bit close up. And I really love that stencil. If you like it, please consider hitting that like. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe.